Hello and welcome to Spelltable Showcase MTG. This is the series Spellcaster Soapbox, where our content creators voice their opinions on everything Magic the Gathering. We hope you enjoy the episode and be sure to subscribe for the next video drop. And now a word about our sponsors. Playing a long game of Magic the Gathering can be tiring. Not to mention the fun, but exhausting days at a con or at your local game store, going from event to event and table to table. One of the best ways to continue in stride is with Dubby. Dubby is an energy drink brand with a single goal. Make an energy drink that is jitter-free, crash-free, with no sugars, artificial colors and dyes, and 0 calories. Dubby has energy drink blends, caffeine-free, electrolyte-focused hydration blends, and other items meant to keep you at your peak. Use the link in the description or at checkout, use code SPELLTABLE to get 10% off. Again, that's code SPELLTABLE to get 10% off. Try Dubby today. Magic the Gathering is enjoyed best when it feels like a fun game and not an overtax on your mental capacity. Getting to the table already stressed and uncomfortable only increases when you are not treating your body right. Deemed Fit is an activewear and athleisure brand dedicated to creating clothing to support your fitness and mental goals, all the while supporting first responders, service members, community providers, and veterans, and promoting mental well-being. Are you ready to get into the best physical and mental shape possible this year? Use the link in the description or at checkout, use code SPELLTABLE to get 15% off. Again, that's code SPELLTABLE to get 15% off. Try Deemed Fit today. Hello, my name's Evan, and I believe Magic the Gathering has so many cards for the Commander format that Commander staples are no longer needed. Said another way, deck builders should do everything in their power to not have cards in their deck that are there only to ramp, draw, or target without providing some benefit towards your overall strategy. The cards might be great at doing one of those 3 actions: ramping, which is gaining cards that regularly tap for mana; drawing, which is putting more cards into your hand; and targeting, any ability that requires you to specify another card to have the ability to resolve, with the focus usually being the removal of an opponent's permanent. But there could be better options so your turn is not just about prepping to do things or trying to bring an opponent down without bringing you up. Let me try to explain. I've gathered a list of cards frequently seen inside Commander precons. These are pre-constructed decks one can buy directly. And I'm going to talk on why they should, and usually why they should not, stay in the deck when you begin upgrading it. The first card to talk on is Sol Ring. Sol Ring is an artifact. Its CMC is 1, and it taps for 2 colorless mana. Okay, you got me. Sol Ring is pretty solid and likely sticks around. My small argument to why this card might not be worth it is really just if you have a really pip-heavy deck, or you just have lots of other strategy-centric ways to get mana. But Sol Ring ultimately feels like a solid add no matter what. Just saying, if your commander creates mana rocks, or your commander is looking for creature synergies and you are into mana dork heavy focuses, Sol Ring doesn't look as great. Arcane Signet is an artifact. It costs 2 mana, and you can tap it to create 1 mana of any color. The only reason to really add Arcane Signet in a monocolored deck is really just because ramp is so needed. But there should be better choices to get more lands into play or play permanents that build the strategy and also tap for mana. Command Tower. Command Tower is a land that taps for mana in any color of your commander's identity. Command Tower is never a bad choice. It taps for what you need at the start, and this seems fine in any situation. Will you find yourself in situations when you want a certain utility land instead of a Command Tower? Sure, but you can have those in too. So far, the list seems pretty one-sided, with a couple of those cards being definites. So let's start to talk about the other side of this equation. Signets. I find myself taking the 2-cost, pay 1, and tap the Signet to get 2 specific colored mana cards out often when deck building. Fixing is just not needed as much anymore, or at least not in this way with the Signets. I can find some reason to keep these when it is an Artifacts Matter deck, but usually there is something better to get more lands into play or fix mana while showcasing your strategy. Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. These lands are good for graveyard and delirium strategies. good when you have ways to untap what you are finding with them, good for sacrifice of permanent strategies, and good when starting out and you just don't have many dual lands and triomes and lands like that. If none of those fit your focus, you might find it better to just have a basic land or some sort of strategy land. Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshares. It is tough to get better than these 1 white mana for exiling a creature cards for targeted removal. Keeping or tossing them might come down to personal opinions. Will seeing this card make you happy? Using a card so cheap to remove a card that probably was not so cheap can be awesome, but you should determine your benefits for moving your game forward. Funny enough, there might be strategic gains from aiming these at yourself too, noting the life gain and ramp effects, so the card is always good whenever you draw it. Beast Within. Beast Within is great for mono green removal, and you could get yourself a creature, but this brings about a similar conversation as the white removal spells. I would really only push this for mono green. Sign in Blood. Sign in Blood is a sorcery for black. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. If you want to lose life and draw cards, there are now lots of ways to draw without being the only thing the card does. So, it's worth looking for other options. You may be searching for draw on creatures, as well as sacrifice effects. Mulldrifter. Mulldrifter is a creature, costs 5 total CMC, 4 and 1 blue, creature elemental 2/2 with flying. Whenever Mulldrifter enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. It also has an evoke cost for 2 and a blue. You may cast this spell for its evoke cost. If you do, it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. Mulldrifter could be a solid add, with it being a draw engine and a flying creature that could block most anything. Cost might be an issue, but there's an alternate cost with evoke if cards are needed cheaply. So this might not be the best, but it checks a lot of boxes for mid to late games. Cultivate. Cultivate is a sorcery, 3 total CMC, 2 and green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those cards, put 1 onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. Is your deck landfall-centric? If not, Cultivate might not be needed to get lands and subsequently big spells into play, since green has lots of ways to create mana and get lands into play without it being the only thing you do. Cultivate is great for finding the non-green colors you also want, so there may be something there for this card in multicolor decks. Counterspell. Counterspell is an instant, 2 total CMC, blue and blue, counter target spell. Do you care about casting instants? Some counters out there draw you cards or create permanents instead, so you may look to those instead of Counterspell. Counterspell is extremely versatile though, since it can stop most anything, so a decision on when you want to see this and what you expect to counter can tell you if this card is stopping something and or getting or keeping you ahead in the game. Lightning Greaves is an artifact equipment, costs 2 total CMC. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. Equip cost is 0. I was surprised to see this over Swiftfoot Boots, but it is a nice surprise as I feel the Greaves are better mana cost wise. This card gives great protection and is static, meaning that it's not just a one-off, but it's something that will stick around until it's targeted. I am finding this more and more worth it for decks that really care about having a commander or some other creature for more than just one turn cycle. Do you know your commander is a big target? Protect it for nearly free with the Greaves. It's also good for decks that want to haste focus when you need to make moves on the same turn. Propaganda. Propaganda is an enchantment, costs 3 total CMC, 2 and a blue. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Does this play into your strategy? Voltron, stacks, enchantment heavy? My take is that this is mostly not worth it, since it's not versatile for every game going on. It could protect you in the early game, but it might not be enough to deter an attack once mana is more plentiful. This does help with slower decks and those that do not want to get hit with easy, small, and regular attacks. To wrap up, pay attention to your strategy and take some time to look at the many cards out there, because there's probably something that gives you an edge and helps you do those stabilizing actions at the same time. I hope you enjoyed that. Do you agree with the content provider? Was anything missed? Does this episode spark any topics you might want to cover? Let us know. We here at Spell Table Showcase MTG try to mix entertainment with education, and so can you. We've got plenty of Magic the Gathering topics that we have opinions on, but we want to hear yours too. If you're interested in recording a similar video for this series and making some money off it, send an email to spelltableshowcase@gmail.com and we'll tell you what to do. We want this to be a channel for the people and also by the people, so we hope to hear from you and learn about that topic that you are passionate about. Well, that about covers it. Thanks to our sponsors for their support. Be sure to subscribe to be notified when the next episode drops. Have a great rest of the day. Bye for now.